let's get on with winter waffling. To my channel, it's Kaz here once again, and I'm so glad to have you with me. Today we are going to be making this beautiful patterned beanie, which I have called Winter Waffle. Alright, so let's get started. I'm using this lovely cream Aran based yarn from my stash. Unfortunately the label's fallen off. I've no idea what the name of the yarn is, but it's got pretty mixed colours through it, and this is the one we're going to be using today. So to start our beanie, we are going to cast on over and under as normal. And we're going to do 4 rows in order to start. And if you'd seen my previous video that I posted up on me dropping stitches on this machine, I usually use a little piece of cardboard under there to lift this up and make it a little closer to the needles, because it was missing the yarn there. But in order to do the design for you today, I have to pop that out, okay? Just loosening up some yarn here, and we'll be on our way. So 4 rows of plain in order to start the beanie, and instead of my cardboard, I'm just going to push there with my thumb and push that a little closer and hope we don't have any dropped stitches, which are really annoying. 4 rows then to start. And there's our 4 rows. And I forgot to zero my clock at the beginning of that, but I will just zero it now. And we're going to do 36 rows of pattern. And this is a 6-row pattern repeat. And I'm going to demonstrate how to do the pattern, and then I'll show you the beanie at the end. So take the yarn out of the yarn feeder, and this is going to work for the Addi 46, which this is of course, and the Sentro 48. So we're going to start from needle 1 and needle 2 on both machines, and we wrap them, okay, like that. So making sure this one is slightly higher than that one, you'll be able to lasso around it a little easier. And I have about 3 inches or so there of yarn, and push it around there like that, making sure it's right under those hooks there, and you'll be golden. So we're going to wrap all the way around, every 2 needles get wrapped. And like I said, I have no idea what to make of this yarn. It's been in my stash for a while, so if you know what it's called, it's an Aran based yarn, or Aran weight yarn rather, because it's really pretty. So wrap into all the way around, and we get to the last 2 needles, 45 and 46 on the Addi, and 47 and 48 on the Sentro. The same, just get to the end of your row, pop the yarn back in your yarn feeder there, and we're going to do 2 rows now of plain knit, okay? So I'm going to need to push that in there instead of using my cardboard. So 1 full row of plain knit. Two full rows plus needle 1. Okay, so that's our first 3 rows of our 6-row pattern repeat done. On row 4 of the pattern, we are going to wrap needles 2 and 3. Same on the Sentro, needles 2 and 3. That's where we start. Wrap 2, same again, wrap 2 all the way around, simple pimple, all the way around. And it is as simple as that. And the last wrap stitch on this row will be your last needle and your first needle. Okay, so I got 46 and 1. On a Sentro will be 48 and 1. And we wrap those 2 yarn back in the yarn feeder, and we do 2 rows again. 1 full row, back to needle 1. Okay, and another row then. Free up some yarn. And row 6, we end on the last needle on your machine. 46 for me, 48 if you're on a Sentro. And that is our 6 row pattern repeat, done and dusted. Repeat those 6 rows over and over and over and over until you get as many rows as you want for your project. For me, it'll be 36 rows plus my 4 to start, and 80 then to finish off the beanie to make the brim and the liner. So I'll just run through it once more now while you watch. Starting at needle 1 on row 1. Wrap all the way around. This is a pretty yarn, you know. I love all the little specklies coming through. It's really pretty. Let me know if you know what it is. I'd like to get some more of it. Some yarn. These large balls of yarn are great, but unless you put them onto a wool winder, they're a bit of a pain. So row 1 ends on your last 2 needles. Wrap those, yarn back in the feeder. One full row. Plus needle 1 on row 3. Okay. And starting row 4, we start on needles 2 and 3 of whichever machine you're on. Wrap 2 all the way around. Making sure now that when you're wrapping it's not too tight, don't have any massive tension on there, it's just looped around, so it's just resting on the needles, okay, and way under these hooks here so the yarn gets caught, okay. And on the end of row 4 you're going to end up on your last needle and your first needle, whichever machine you're using. So wrap those 2. Yarn back in the yarn feeder, 1 full row, plain knitting, back to your last needle and another row, back to your last needle, okay, and we start the pattern all over again from needle 1, okay. So if you're going to do it, you just do as many as you want and then finish off with your plain to finish your beanie. Like I said, I did 4 rows to start off after cast on, 36 rows of pattern and 80 rows of plain for the brim and the liner. So I'll see you shortly when this is all done and dusted. See you soon. I've just popped back on now to show you that when you are knitting with this technique, sometimes these stitches will rise up, okay? They'll rise up the needle and you'll need to pop them back down a little bit. So it's okay. So I just wanted to show you that. And especially when you're going after the wrapping row, when you move on to the plain knit row, they rise up there as well. So I just came back on quickly now as I'm working through my beanie here to show you that, so you're aware of it when you have a little go with this as well. Now I'm on row 4 of the pattern because I've ended up wrapping the last needle and the first needle. If I'm going to go now and show you how these stitches rise up a little bit, but isn't that pretty? And that's the inside of it, look at that. So here we go. As you can see, they're rising up there, so it will slow you down a little bit, and the machine will feel a little tighter sometimes because there's a lot of yarn being wrapped around these needles. There we go, there's one there that's wrapped quite high up. So just be aware of that as you're working your way around. Some of them will flop down normally, no issues at all, and then some will slide down slowly, and then some will stay up and you'll need to help them along a little bit. These are not too bad at the moment, they're sliding down of their own accord as long as I'm cranking around slowly. So that's my little tip for you if you're going to try any of these patterns that include wrapping 2 pins, and I've got loads of patterns on my playlist there, so pop in and have a look. Trailing Ivy, Diamond Daisy, Chevron Chic is fabulous. So there you go, I'm ended back on there now, and I'm going to start the next row at row 1, which is the first part of the pattern, the 6-row pattern repeat. Time to cast off. Stitches, and our work is off the machine. Now the only dilemma I have is what colour pom-pom to put on the top. Final reveal coming up shortly. So I've decided to make my own pom-pom. Now as you may know, I am a bit of a repurposer, and I tell you what this is an old jacket that I picked up in a local charity shop. And I thought, I can cut that up. The fur is really long, really luxurious, it's really pretty. So what I've done is I've cut a 6-inch, roughly 6-inch square. It's not exactly square, it doesn't really matter. And another one of my bargain finds here is a really, really strong thread. I'm not sure quite what it's used for. I think it's quite old because the centre is a kind of vintage looking. But I'm using that. And I've got a pointy darning needle, so it's got a point on the end, it's not a dull one. And I'm going to put a running stitch all the way around the edge. Now if you've got one of those nifty little machines, it's a little bit like one of these. It's a little bit like one of those, but instead of the blade being bladey, it's got, and you can run it across there, it's got little notches in it, and it makes you nice little lines. Unfortunately I haven't got one of those, so it's a case of running stitch all the way around. Leaving a nice tail on there because we're going to need to gather it up. And I'm not too fussy about how my running stitch looks, apart from the fact I need to have a bit of a tail on it. That's got a running stitch all the way around, and I'm back to the beginning with 2 tails, so I'm going to leave that on there. And I've got a small kind of palm amount, I guess, of stuffing there. I'm going to pop that in the centre, and I'm going to draw my strings together like that. And then I'm just going to put a few stitches to hold it in place. And that's basically how you make your own pom-pom. Actually, I'm going to tie that. So tie together nice and strongly there. And if you wrap it around more than once, you'll get a knot that won't let go. Then push all those little ends that you've got in a little bit. And just a few more stitches. Make sure you've got all those cut ends like that. Push them in then so you can catch that end there. And sew them in until you get a nice, neat pom-pom. You can be a bit more careful than I am at the moment. I'm rushing a bit to show you how I kind of do them when I do them. It's not very often I do them actually, to be honest, but I wanted a bigger pom-pom for my beanie today and I've only got small ones. So there you can see it's nice and neat and tidy in there. All the ends are tucked in. I'll do a few more stitches now and we'll attach it to the beanie and do the final reveal. Hook all these little furry bits out that get caught in your stitches. Use the end of your needle for that. And apart from a few extra stitches, I think those ends are more or less all tucked in there. Give it a little shake. And there you've got a nice big fat 6-inch pom-pom. Isn't that pretty? So, like I said, don't forget your charity shops, your thrift stores, anything like that. Any old furry, fuzzy jackets, beautiful amounts of fur fabric in there. And I think this jacket cost me about £3 and I'm going to get 20, 30 pom-poms out of it, I think. Lovely. And to attach my pom-pom, I've just used an ordinary 2-hole button and I've tied a pretty bow. And I'll trim these a little later. And the final reveal. This is the one we made together, guys. Isn't it pretty? With that beautiful, beautiful, really luscious pom-pom on the top. That's the one we made together. And this is one that was my trial one before. So I knew that the pattern would work out. And that's got a small little pom-pom that I bought off Amazon. So you can see why I wanted to go for a nice big statement pom-pom on there. Okay, it's lovely, but I think that one's a lot nicer. So, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to check out my other tutorials because Christmas is coming and I have tutorials on how to make snowmen. So go and check that out if you'd like to make snowmen. I've also got tutorials on how to make mini Christmas wreaths which you can hang off your Christmas tree. And also how to make candy canes. So pop along and check out my other videos and they're completely free and you can make lots and lots of Christmas things. Oh, hang on, I just forgot some guy. I just forgot some pretty little guy. There's also a Grinch gnome, a Grinch-inspired gnome. So go and check out the video for that as well, which was put up just before Christmas last year. So go check out the Grinch gnome and all these other cute things that you can make as well. All on my channel now for free. So go and take advantage of those lovely videos. And I hope you enjoy them. Thank you for joining me once again and I will see you again soon. And if this pattern, like I always say, is of any use to you, especially in a monetary form, maybe think about giving a couple of pounds or a couple of pence even to your local, no kill by the way, animal shelter. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. Give us a thumbs up, guys. Your support is very much appreciated. Take care. Bye now. Bye for now. Dancing thumbs.